and chatting here. Now I'm on the record. Um,
I
Sean,
already received a game though, so if you want to donate it to someone else, that's totally
who
cool.
has not gotten a game? Everybody here has already gotten a game. Am I good? Okay.
I haven't gotten a game.
Okay, John. John was the first to say I haven't gotten a game. John C. John C. Riley. I don't know. John, pick a month, any month but June.
Oh, funny because that was the exact one I was gonna pick. I'll go October.
October it is. June. I say any month but June because I have no free games left in June, so that's the only reason. October. We have 4 choices left in October. Okay, what do we got? I don't know, man. A lot of people. I'm gonna go back a year because I've been to that October before. I've given away a fair number of games from October 2020. So we'll go to October 2019. Let's see. What do we got? Linked. That's it? No, there's got to be more.
Should I
Access
change the
humble
month?
linked to Dodo. I guess. No, I guess I've taken all of the ones from October of 2019. Let's try October of 2018. Or I'm going to make you pick another month. Let's see. One more try. October 2018. Okay. I have less information about these because they're so old that that I don't really know much about them. I can search for them on Steam. Okay. Wait, what's going on? Okay. One of them. Ooh. Why didn't I take this one? Okay. It looks like a hidden object game. But it looks cute. Or what do we got? This one is what I don't know how to describe this. It's 3D, looks like dungeons. Discover the truth behind this dark castle. It's a puzzle adventure. Okay, so you got a choice. John C.
I'll go with the puzzle adventure.
The puzzle adventure. Okay. In chat, send me a private message with an email where you would like your Steam key sent. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Copy. Gift to a friend. Send an email. Email. Control V. Send email. Now remember, it's an email from Humble Bundle, not from me. The game is called We Were Here Too. It looks like kind of The Room. If you've ever played The Room.
Oh, that's a good one. I've played it. But
Yeah.
it is also a co-op game. Like last class.
Yeah, so this looks like you wander around a castle and there's puzzles. I don't know. Don't know. I don't know why I didn't pick it, but whatever. It's yours now. Go redeem.
Thank you.
Go redeem. Okay. Lots to do today. So first, what's going on here? To eat. Okay. So first, what am I doing? I didn't give you feedback on Right Club. Right Club. This was a hard one, I think. Because honestly, if you had Disney characters in an RTS and you clicked on them, all their barks would probably just be straight up their most famous Disney line, right? So if it were I don't know, Elsa, it would be Let It Go, right? She would be like, Let It Go. If it were Goofy, it would be straight up Gorsh, right? If it were the Rock in Moana, what was his name? He whatever.
Maui.
What?
Maui.
Maui, thank you. He would just say you're welcome, right? When you clicked on him. So my hard part is to twist it, to like add something so that it feels like an RTS. So I got a lot.
How do you make it feel like an RTS?
Yeah, well, that's the hard part, right? So
Like, what does that even mean?
What does Maui say when he attacks? Right? What does Maui say when he walks? It's not just a quote, but it's a quote that turns into an attack quote. So the ones I got, good ones that made me happy or interested. So Mushu attacking, let me see your war face, right? Which is kind of from it, but you know, I get it. The other problem with these is they tend to go long, right? Think about let me see your war, and then I'm clicking on something else already, right? How do you play StarCraft and actually hear the barks? You usually don't, but they're very, very short. They're like, yeah, boss, right? So Dumbo, don't even try to fly, now die, which seems bloodthirsty and horrible for Dumbo, but that's kind of the assignment. Aladdin on seeing a new base, a whole new base. See, your this one, your for some reason when I copied it, no spaces came through. You're gonna wish you brought a jacket from Elsa. I mean, it's not from the movie, but it's I'm gonna attack you with cold beams. That this one probably wouldn't pass Disney Disney approval because it's kind of a double entendre, but I'll give them a taste of my thingamabob, which makes sense if you know that a thingamabob is a fork. But if you don't know that, then you're like, say, Scar, long live me. Right. That seemed like a good one. this one I think is Emperor's New Groove. A lot of you did really deep cuts on really bad movies, and I had to Google.
Sorry, did you just say Emperor's New Groove is bad?
Well, that's an objective fact.
It is okay. Let's
Hmm.
Kronk's, yes. Emperor's, the sequel, because most Disney sequels aren't that great, yes. But like the original wasn't that bad.
Okay.
We're not
I have tried to watch Emperor's New Groove multiple times and fallen asleep every time. So there we go. Here we go. So I think this is Emperor's New Groove. Commanding an emperor, fine. Does that seem like an Emperor's New Groove thing? That was the other thing. You guys
Yes.
take me really seriously about not putting in who's saying it. And like I said, you're free to put in who's saying it, right? Please. But the quote itself should be so evocative of the character that a better quote will not need it, right? So that's but thinking that I'm automatically going to recognize some underboss from Aristocats, probably not, you know.
Were there any
yeah,
were there any examples of barks you could recognize that were actually only like a couple words?
yes, my favorite came from the 3 o'clock. Bibbity bobbity booyah. I know who said
good.
it. It's warlike. It is perfect in every way. I hold it up. I sent it to my wife. I told my wife the assignment, and she was like, "That is good. That is funny. Give that person an A." So, also, I mean, this one is just creepy. Also from the 3 o'clock class. My nose is my weapon from Pinocchio, which I just see like a bunch of Pinocchios walking up on some other units and their noses stabbing out and skewering those other units, and it's just horrifying. It's not really a Pinocchio quote, but I mean, think about that. That's I could see that. Anyway, okay, so that's Disney movies. I honestly think that's probably the hardest Right Club. I think this week's Right Club is easier with the noir place names. So have at it. Okay, so boom, baby, for an Emperor's New Groove bark. Yeah, probably. 2000 Disney movies. Well, so that I could go on, but I have too many other things to do. Talking about Disney properties. We went to Universal once. See, here I go. We went to Universal once and we're wandering around Universal, and I'm like, I don't have the connection to these properties. I just like, even Dr. Seuss, he was okay, but like I don't get all misty about the Cat in the Hat. Whereas, you stick me next to Pooh and I'm like, Pooh. Ah. And maybe that's a generational thing. Like I'm way too old to care about Minions, right? I mean, Minions are funny and all, but like to get excited to go meet a Minion, not really. Hogsmeade, I got all excited before I went, and in Hogsmeade, it's I didn't like the design of the place because it's designed to be like cramped, twisty, small English village, right? With little places. This is Florida. Yeah, I did. I went to both sides. Both. I like Diagon Alley better than I liked Hogsmeade, basically, but both have the same problem of the place they're trying to simulate is supposed to be a cramped, twisty place, right? And when you put crowds in the cramped, twisty place, I get like, I want to get out of here. This is crazy, right? I went before they had two different sides, but I walked in and felt like I was home immediately. Yeah. Again, I'm too old to have the Harry Potter like kid thing. I was an adult when I read Harry Potter. And I thought it was perfectly fine fantasy. And I didn't quite understand why everybody was excited about that and not 10 other fantasy series that I could name, right? So yeah, and now Harry Potter is on the outs anyway, because we shouldn't give money to that person. Whereas, yeah, at Disney World, I got all sorts of things that like just Tomorrowland, the future, like the concept, the future, man. The future. I like that, right? So anyway. Okay, so let's talk about ARGs briefly and then get our jobs. So I talked about seeds. I'm going to give you a seed today. A seed is a real thing, or at least it may not be real depending on how you feel about ghosts or witches or mad scientists. But I just want to talk about the idea of the seed. The point of giving you the seed is so that I don't give you just nothing and say, go make an ARG, right? So that you have something to build off of, so that you can go start Googling and say, oh, look, I found this cool thing and I found this cool thing. And maybe we can do this, right? And in the past, because I've gotten bored with conspiracy theory ARGs, but let's face it, I've come to accept that the first ARG you make is probably going to be a conspiracy theory ARG, right? And that's fine. But in the past, I have pushed classes to make comedy ARGs or romance ARGs, right? Yes, I am. I do. I did. So I found out one year that there's an island in the Mystic River, the river that's between Worcester and Shrewsbury, that you cross the river, the big bridge to go to Shrewsbury on Route 9. In that river, it's where all the rowers row. There's an island in that river that has been named Sir Mix-a-Lot Island. And there is a story for how it came to be known as Sir Mix-a-Lot Island. And I said, it turned out that a guy who really liked Sir Mix-a-Lot proposed to his wife on that island, and it didn't actually have a name. So he went on a crusade to get it named Sir Mix-a-Lot Island for one of their wedding anniversaries, and got it named, found out how to do it, and it's now named Sir Mix-a-Lot Island. So I was like, oh, well, A, you could go with the story of that happy romance, or B, something about Sir Mix-a-Lot. you know, music and fun and partying and what have you. And they, of course, they found references to ancient Egyptian gods in Sir Mix-a-Lot's lyrics, and made a death cult that met on that island, who were going to open a gateway to the ancient Egyptian gods. Oh, we're still talking about Disney in the chat. So,
Have you heard of the Crow ARG for Crow
no.
64? So this guy made a bunch of fake old game review channels, and then they all posted a video around the same time about like quote unquote unfounded Nintendo 64 game. And then like so he posted videos about it, and then like there was like he said he found the files, and then it was like this corrupted game, but there was a story behind it. So there was a giant community.
Okay, is that there was a game, there's a whole documentary about it. I'll look it up and find it, but there was supposedly an arcade game in the 80s that brainwashed you.
Oh, Polybus?
Polybus. Polybius.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was in Washington or Oregon or something.
Well, it was supposedly only available in certain places around Nevada, and if you did too well in it, then the men in black came and kidnapped you to take you to fly super high tech secret jets or spaceships, depending on the whole thing.
I thought it had something to do with hallucinogens.
There's that too. I mean, because everybody was like, "Isn't that just the last Starfighter?" And and eventually Jeff Minter made a game called Polybius to fulfill the whole thing. So anyway, okay, so I assume that you'll probably make some sort of conspiracy theory ARG, and that's fine. Although one year we did get a comedy ARG, where yeah, 4 p.m. Yeah, we'll all go to Disney one day. So the 1 year I gave them the Andover Demon as a seed, and this was a little demon that was apparently running around Andover over a weekend in the 70s. And multiple people saw it, and it was never found. You can look it up on Wikipedia, and maybe all the people were experiencing drugs and seeing either some sort of dog or raccoon that was screwed up in some way or whatever. So that was the seed, and the ARG they made was actually quite clever. The Evil Corporation was a package delivery service, not unlike FedEx, but they made up their own. And they had heard of the Andover Demon, and because it kind of blinked in and out of existence, there was a scientist, I think the mentor, figured out that this was some kind of being that was traveling through time, or that could travel through time, and so this package delivery service wanted to capture it and harness it so that they could deliver packages before they were sent. So to be the fastest delivery service anywhere. So there were all sorts of they made a puppet and they ran around on campus, and they did blurry bad videos of this puppet running around in the dark, like Bigfoot videos, and had all sorts of fun with it. So I am going to give you a seed, and the for years, again, I have been doing this a long time. There were a bunch of years where writers or just one class would say, do we really need to use that because we have our own ideas and it doesn't really fit with our stuff? And I and I was like, nah, go ahead, use your own stuff. You don't have to use the seed. And inevitably, they would get overwhelmed with producing content about their thing, and the ARG would feel empty and uh, not real, right? Because the one thing about the seeds is that I find stuff that already exists in the world, and you can hook into all the things that there are web pages about these things out there, right? So uh so now I've come back to the yes, you must use the seed. Sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry at all. That doesn't mean it has to be the central conceit, or everything must circle around that seed. In some cases, one year I gave the Voynich manuscript, right, as the seed. And the Voynich manuscript is a book made by, from medieval times. It is in a code that has never been broken, except it was. I just watched in like 2019, some Turkish engineers broke the code. And it had pictures of like flowers and animals that don't exist in nature. And so the speculation was that this monk had been taken to an alien planet and tried to chronicle what he saw there, and the Voynich manuscript happened, and he's speaking in a code that no one can crack. It was because it was colloquial Turkish. Yes. So if you know, like imagine like New Orleans patois is kind of French and kind of English and in between, and you're writing in that, and then Europeans, but it's Turkish kind of patois, and then white dudes come along and are like, nobody can figure this out ever. This is a code, right? And that's kind of what it turned out to be. Turkish engineer was like, oh, this is like from where my grandmother was from. Huh, go figure, right? So anyway, so they took the Voynich manuscript and they were all like, we've got other ideas about stuff. And so they made the mentor who taught them about, I think somebody was being poisoned or something, and he was an expert on the Voynich manuscript as his like backstory lore, right? So it was in there, but it wasn't central to the entire story, right? So there's that. What else did I want to say? I should have notes, but I don't, because I usually just remember things. So we are going to get jobs today. What I'd like to do is first, once again, go over, I need 2 producers, 2. These are the people who organize the organizers. So, also I had that structure of like writers, tech, gameplay, artists. And then there's sidekick, mentor, goddess, villain. and so you are the villain writer, right, or the goddess gameplay designer. That's one way of thinking about it. And in the past, other like groups have said, hey, we're just like all the gameplay designers are just working on all of it. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's a suggestion, not a requirement. It's a way of thinking about it. On the other hand, other very like, and that worked, that was fine. But other times, they would use that kind of structure and say, okay, day one is the rabbit hole, and I'll talk about rabbit holes. Day two, they're going to meet the sidekick. And so all of day two is going to be sidekick content. So the sidekick team is responsible for day two. Day three, the villain is going to come and threaten. So day three, villain team is doing all the gameplay on day three, and we've got to have story and such. So that's another way of organizing it by day, right? So I'm responsible for day one, day two, day three, but they just gave each day a character. Obviously, it's a little more flexible than that, because on day three, after the villain day, the mentor comes and explains how things are going to happen, but the villain is still around and they still got to deal with the villain. So there's going to be villain content, and the sidekick is going to be talking to them and I don't know, cracking jokes or helping with the mentor. So the sidekick is still going to be doing stuff. That said, I also want to say that the number one challenge of this assignment is project management, right? Is wrangling 25 people, 26 people, all to make a thing. And it is very easy to keep your head down, become invisible, disappear, because what will happen is the people who are excited and in the trenches and doing it, they will, your leads will send you an email and say, hey, can you do this? You didn't come to the meeting. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. You didn't reply to the email. They might send you another one. Still no reply. Screw it. I'm going to just do it myself. Right. So that it gets done. And that's the big thing. Just like the play D&D assignment, there is a finite time when it has to be done by. And then if you show up the day after that day and say, how can I make this up? You can't. It's done. Somebody else did it. Right. So so it's very easy to disappear and then show up and say, hey, everybody, what happened? Right? There's no work for you. So I'm warning you ahead of time. You got to check in. You got to reply to the emails. You got to try, right? And often I get, and these are sometimes from very conscientious students, hey, the ARGs are going live tomorrow. I don't feel like I've done enough. What else can I do? And that's well, the ARGs go live when they go live, right? So there may be places where, like, the writers, you're a writer, say, and you feel like you haven't done enough. The gameplay people are killing themselves trying to get all they have to get done. And once again, hey, we got a writer who feels like he hasn't done enough or she hasn't done enough. Go help the gameplay people, right? Just because you're a writer doesn't mean you can't do other things. So be clear about that. The other thing is that at the end of all of this, you are going to have to write a postmortem, right? where you say first what you did for the ARG. And if you haven't done anything, I get some of the best fiction writing I get all year in that paragraph of what I did. Because I will have, because then you say what went right, what went wrong, and what I do differently, right? So in the what went wrong, I get, not to name names, but there were some real gaps in the villain team. And we emailed them over and over again, and they never responded and they never did anything. And I get 4 people saying that in their what went wrongs. And then I get the villain team saying all the amazing things they did. And I put 2 and 2 together. I figured
That tells a story.
Yeah. Well, it is a story. They have told the story.
Like from multiple sources.
Yeah.
Do you see the parallel?
No, say what you're saying, Nathan.
It's, I don't know. It reminds me of, because you're putting these pieces together,
right?
From different.
It's
You're
like
putting
an
the story
ARG.
together using information from different sources, and we're making a story that is that.
Yes, exactly. So I play my own little ARG. So I always show this. Let me share this. This is always fun. There. And you've probably seen it before because it's a meme. Where is it? Screen? No, not that. Cancel. Share. Where is it? There it is. This is the meme. Every group project ever. One guy does 99% of the work. One guy has no idea what's going on the whole time. One says he's going to help, but never does. And one disappears at the very beginning and doesn't show up until the very end and then takes credit for everything, right? That is the Hangover. That is also every group project ever. So I know, like, I've been doing group projects for 20 years. I see these things. I see what happens. So don't be that guy, whichever guy you think you are. Don't be that guy. Okay, so first thing I want to do is put out there. I need the 2 lead producers, and I don't want the lead producers. Thank you, Gabe. I don't want the lead producers to be the people who didn't show up today and we shoved them in there, because that would not be good for anyone, right? So Gabe, anyone else, please raise your hand if you would like to be a lead producer. If we get more than 2, we'll talk about it. If we get 2, great. If we, anyway, so click the little raise hand button if you want to be a lead producer. I got Gabe. I know you want to be the lead producer. It's pretty much locked in. Somebody else to shoulder the load with Gabe. Does nobody like you, Gabe? Is that what they're saying? Is that the horrible thing? The horrible secret truth? Eli hates Gabe. He's just kidding. Come on, we need one more. Someone who is responsible and project management. I love seniors to be lead producers because they've been through 4 years of project management. I'm not gonna lie. It's see, I didn't even know that.
I am not a senior, but I can. I'm a freshman.
Riker, freshmen don't know what's impossible, and so they make good project leads. So okay, I am going to make Gabe.
We got the dynamic duo.
And Riker
Heck yeah, Riker, let's do it.
What's Riker's last name? Jermaine. Our lead producers. And then here's what we're going to do. I am going to change to anyone with the link. Anyone with the link can edit. And I am going to copy the link, and I am going to put the link to the Google sheet in the chat. Go there and put your name in the job you want. Go. And hopefully there won't be terrible conflicts. Remember, community managers both organize who's playing the other game and help the players of your game play and keeps track of where they are. I have 3 blue boxes. That's because there are only 3 community managers, not a total of 5. Everybody's jumping around. Our leads are all filled in. Interestingly, in 3 p.m., no one wanted to be leads. They are all followers and not leaders.
Nathan, would you care to put your
leads
last
aren't
name
just
in?
organization. No, they do the stuff too. Absolutely. So like lead writer, and again, all of this organization stuff is suggestion, not requirement. But like, for instance, I always think of lead writer as being the overall arc, and then but you're going to get together in like a writers group and hash out what that overall arc is. But then the lead writer is the one who sits down and writes the 2-page outline of what happens each day in terms of stories. And then somebody's got to go write all those blogs and Twitter posts and all that stuff, as well as background Bibles for the rest of the team, right? Jack, plenty ideas about ARG creation. Okay, good. And I'm going to leave this open. It looks like everybody who's here, and I'm not counting, but everybody who's here is getting a job. Interestingly, nobody wants to be a community manager. Those were the ones that filled up first in 3 p.m.
Everybody here wants to do work. Let's go.
Or maybe you're like mirror images of each other. Because I think of the community manager as serious work. I don't know. So that's why I made it, because basically I over the years I found like
It
hey,
looks like there's
somebody's
2
gotta-
people.
I'm
2
sorry?
people missing. It looks like there's I added them up. It looks like there's 1 person now only. There's
Okay.
somebody just 1 person that has a fill in.
Okay. There are actually 26 people in this class. So I may, if somebody says, hey man, I really, really want to be a writer, I may add an extra writer. Or if somebody, but I need community managers, because basically I identified a need. Because honestly, one year, one of the classes was like, we're not going to play the game. Screw them. We're building our game, and we're not going to play their game. And I'm like, what? And they're like, well, it's not for credit. You didn't give us points for playing their game, so we're not going to do it. And I was like, what?
That's just a dick thing to do.
Yeah, it was. It was an entire class doing it. And the other class, the 4 p.m., it was the 3 p.m. class saying, we're not going to play the 4 p.m. class ARG. The 4 p.m. class ARG was great. It was well organized. It was laid out. They had good puzzles. They had a good story. It was all ready. It was sitting there. And after day 2, they were like, where is everybody? What's going on? So now it's worth 10 points to play the other game. Otherwise, you don't get 10 points and you get a B in the class. No, it does not involve being available at all times. You've got other people to share the availability with. So like, for instance, you might mostly it's setting up schedules for who's going to play the other game when, right? And checking in daily, or at least somebody checking in daily on what the players are doing, so that and maybe working with tech for building in gates so for instance, if there's a password protected WordPress blog post, right? There is a way to see if anybody has accessed that blog post. And when somebody accesses that blog post, they solved the puzzle that gives them the password, right? So that's a gate to say, okay, we know that at least somebody is here. And that means that they're on schedule, they're behind, because
And the community manager is setting those gates or checking them,
or not set it, but asking for them. Hey, can we have a gate a day, and what are they, and how do we keep track of them with the tech, right? So it's everybody working together is the thing. So I want to just quickly show you the assignment, which is make an ARG. Dates are wrong on this because I haven't edited it yet, haven't posted it yet. But I want to show you because the number one, what I would have done different is I would have started earlier. So I want to give you a chance to get started. So all these dates are wrong. I haven't fixed it yet. I didn't get a chance to edit this today. But here's the thing. Each day, excluding the first, which is just the rabbit hole day, and I'll talk about rabbit holes tomorrow. But it's the it's attract mode for ARGs, right? What is this? We really need community managers right now. I'd be willing to move. Give it till tomorrow. And we'll talk again tomorrow. But every day there should be 2 story beats and 2 gameplay beats, right? And by story beats, could be a web page with text, could be a YouTube video, could be a painting of Vlad the Destroyer. Something that gives insight into a plot point or a character, and then 2 gameplay elements. This could be an online puzzle, a real world event, something as simple as take a picture and send it in, something as difficult as gather 15 people on the quad and have them stand as though they're stars in this constellation on the quad, and then take a picture from Morgan Fourth of that constellation or something. They did that one year. It seemed overly complicated to me, but every day there were people on the quad making constellations. Please. So this is the reason why was because some very puzzle oriented ARGs were just loading their players down with like 15 puzzles a day and saying, well, this is one puzzle in 15 parts. Well, no. So I don't want anybody to fail any other classes because they're either making so much content for these or trying to solve so much content that they're killing themselves. I will post these within the next hour or so that you can get started. But the other thing I want to talk about, well, not talk about, but give you right now, I'm going to stop the share and I am going to actually switch over. This is 4. I'm going to put this in on the sheet. Everybody can see the sheet. This is what I see in the sheet. Your seed is Ephraim, AIM, Ephraim Gray, the mad scientist of Malden, Mass. Real person, existed. His name is Ephraim Gray. He was known. He lived in the 1800s, and he became known as the mad scientist of Malden, Mass. So writers, not necessarily if you're remote, Nathan. It's kind of organizational and schedules and collecting things, collecting game reports, basically. So Ephraim Gray is kind of a weird scientist, but maybe not science at all. So writers, go look up Ephraim Gray in Malden, Mass. If any of you are remote and in or near Malden, Mass, you may be able to go find significant places in Ephraim Gray's life or unlife. So just be aware. Ephraim Gray may still be alive today. Just think about it. So go start playing with ideas. And I will also put in general, I will put the link, get a job in the ARG on the Discord for anybody who is asynchronous. That is the ARG organization sheet. Go there. Also, please, please, please don't delete other people's names and take their jobs. That would be mean. I should take a screenshot. I don't know. I'm going to trust you that you just, you know.
You can also, yeah, you can see the edit history.
Okay. Just don't be mean. That would be rule number one. Don't be a jerk. That would be being a jerk. Also, if you haven't yet, Jaden and I yesterday were playing the locksmith ARG thing. Had a good time. I played with some of it with 3 p.m. and some with 4 p.m. I would just like to say that 3 p.m. has found their way back into my good graces by actually trying the locksmith ARG before you guys even got around to it. So they solved it all before you even started it. Just saying. So also remember that you get extra credit on this assignment for solving their ARG first, and they have some formidable puzzle solvers, escape room veterans. So just be aware of that. McKenna can't help you solve their puzzles, but she will help. She will help you design the ARG. So we will be talking about the locksmith ARG tomorrow. If you haven't played it yourself, go look through it. It's free. It's fun. Takes, I don't know, how long did it take, Jaden? Like an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe?
Like half an hour to an hour.
Really?
I don't know. We were just doing pass last night.
Yeah. Okay. I was kind of poking
Yeah,
you.
yeah. That's true. So probably like an hour and a half to 2
Um,
hours if no.
yeah.
Equals.
I honestly, the 3 p.m. took a little longer because I didn't remember it at all, and was like, wait, how do we do this? What is that? I don't remember any of this crap. So just be aware. Go play it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll see some videos. We'll have all sorts of fun, and go forward with organization. Okay, I'm way over time yet again. Thanks for coming. Glad none of you burned. And I will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank
Excited to
you.
get to work.
Yep.
Bye.